ancient walls of a castle. A secret has been hidden for centuries. As a writer, I came to uncover it, but I did know that a story wasn't the only thing that lived there. A being with a thirst for blood.
The painting on the wall began to change. Count Dracula's face, which was once a flat, painted image, was now twisting and contorting. The lines of the brush strokes were becoming flesh and bone. His eyes, the ones that were just red paint, began to glow with a deep, burning light. A crack appeared on the canvas, and a drop of thick, black blood oozed out. I watched in horror as the image of the Count seemed to gain volume, pushing itself out of the painting, like a snake shedding its skin. The painting's frame began to groan, the wood splintering. The smell of dust and old paint was replaced by the cloying, metallic scent of blood. The room grew colder, and a gust of wind, even though all the doors and windows were shut, blew the torch on the wall out, plunging the room into darkness. The only light now was the terrifying, burning red glow from the painting. The face of Count Dracula completely emerged, followed by his skeletal, bony hand. The hand gripped the frame of the painting, and the wood crumbled into dust under his touch. His body, now fully formed, was long and thin, like a spider's legs. He stepped out of the painting, his feet making no sound on the wooden floor. His long, black cloak flowed around him, a river of night. "You have seen what you came to see, Lucius." His voice was no longer from the painting, but was right there in the room. A low, guttural whisper that seemed to come from all directions. "Now, you are a part of my story, a permanent part." A terrifying smile spread across his face, revealing those needle-sharp fangs. He began to float towards me, his red eyes fixed on mine. I wanted to run, but my feet were frozen to the ground. My body was a statue of terror. I could feel the cold radiating off him, a cold that didn't just chill the skin, but seemed to freeze the blood in my veins. He raised his hand. His long, sharp nails were like claws, and they were stained with what looked like old, dried blood. "You will be my storyteller now. You will tell the world of my power, of my hunger, of my existence," he whispered, his voice full of a dark, evil delight. "And you will do it for eternity." Just as his hand was about to touch my face, a ray of moonlight, thin as a thread, pierced through a tiny crack in the ceiling and fell directly on it. The Count shrieked, a sound so horrifying it made my ears bleed. His skin began to sizzle and smoke, like a piece of meat on a hot griddle. He recoiled, his body dissolving back into the darkness. The moonlight disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, and the room was once again pitch black. I was left alone, gasping for air, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would burst. The painting was back to its original state, the face of a man with no eyes, just a ghostly blur. The smell of blood and decay, however, was still there, strong and overwhelming. I was not safe. I had to get out. My body, which was frozen by fear, began to move again. I ran to the door, and this time, it opened with a creak. I ran out, through the corridor, and out of the castle. I didn't stop until I saw the first hint of morning light on the horizon. I ran through the woods, not caring about the scratches and thorns tearing at my skin. The morning light was my only hope. As I ran, I could hear the haunting whispers of the wind behind me, as if the Count's voice was still following me. "You can't escape. You can't escape." I finally reached the edge of the woods. The Roman road, dusty and well-trodden, was in front of me. I looked back at the castle. It looked normal now, a silent, ancient structure on a distant hill. But I knew what was inside. I knew the secrets it held. I ran towards my chariot. As I got closer, I saw that it was still there, but the horses were gone. I looked around and saw their broken reins lying on the ground. A single black raven, perched on a branch, cawed loudly, its eyes glinting in the morning light. It was the same raven I had seen on the castle gate. I had to get back to Rome, I had to warn people. But how could I? Who would believe me? They would call me mad. I would be put in an asylum. But I had to try. I had to save others from the same fate. I started running towards the village, my feet aching with every step. I saw the old woman who had warned me. She was standing outside her hut, her face full of sorrow. When she saw me, her eyes widened. "You came back," she whispered, her voice full of disbelief. "You actually came back from there." I nodded, unable to speak. He is real," I finally managed to say. "He is real, and he is here." She shook her head, a tear rolling down her wrinkled cheek. We know since centuries. We knew before he came here. He is a curse on this land, a curse that never leaves. But why didn't you warn others? Why didn't you tell the Roman Empire? I asked, my voice trembling. "We did," she said, her eyes full of a terrible sorrow. "But they are fools. They are greedy. They think they can conquer anything, but they cannot conquer him. He is the very essence of evil. He is the master of darkness, and we are just his toys." She turned and went inside her hut, leaving me alone in the middle of the road. I felt a chill run down my spine. The sun was rising, but I was colder than ever before. I was alone in a world full of people who were either too afraid or too ignorant to see the truth. I had to tell the world. I had to tell them about Count Dracula. I had to write my story. The story of a man who went to meet a legend and became a part of it. The story of a man who saw the truth, but could not get anyone to believe him. I walked toward the main road, leaving the village behind. The sun was rising higher in the sky. It was a new day, but for me, it was a new nightmare. The memory of the Count's voice, his chilling laugh, and the red glow of his eyes were a part of me now. And I knew that even in the brightest of days, the darkness would be a shadow that would follow me forever.